as I started the wind picks up. What the hell? Alright, homies. As you can see, little Jeep is here. The Tenere 700 2021 with 12,000 kilometers on it. My bike that I bought and loved very well. Loved. Here's the problem with what happened with the Tenere was I bought it in the summertime, in July, and I had the bike for 5 months. When I bought the bike, you sign over your registration, your logbook, for people who aren't from Ireland, I don't know, whatever you have, but it's basically proof of ownership. You sign it over, you give it to the guy who currently owns the bike, you've just bought it off him, you sign all your details, he posts that for you, and then it comes to you within a week or two, max. It comes to you in the post and it says, you're the new owner, Stephen's bike. And I got my 3 keys with it, and this was great. The bike went into the shed. You can't do much without the logbook. You need proof of ownership to be able to like tax it. I think you can insure it, but if it's not taxed, it's not insured. You know, there's a vicious circle there. That's a trap. I had to wait 5 months to get my logbook. About 2 months had passed. I was working. It was the height of summer. I was really busy. Didn't even think of it, to be honest. It's very, very cold. Didn't even think of the logbook, and then all of a sudden, after 2 months, I kind of went, hey, wait a minute, I never got the logbook. So I text the guy, Polish guy, absolute gentleman, lovely, lovely guy. Had me at his house when I looked at the bike, because most people are like, oh, you're not coming to my house, I'll meet you in the middle of nowhere. Oh, camera's falling. Hold on. It's like the Tenere, curse of the Tenere. Anyway, so he had me at his house and seen all his project cars. He had a cool 300ZX that he was building from scratch. Lovely guy. Hadn't the use for the bike, so I bought it off him. I texted him and said, hey, where's the logbook? Actually, I texted him and said, hey, is this bike stolen? Because when you turn the key on a bike, you can turn the handlebars fully, and it's called a parking lock, so that it's not as easy to steal the bike. You can't just straighten the wheel and roll it away. It's angled, so you're gonna have to lift the front wheel or something. Anyway, that was broken. So as if it had been attempted to be broken, as if it had been stolen. There's a little rung that the key slots into. I don't know, that was broke. The wheel didn't lock, that's all I know. And the ignition, underneath the ignition were some exposed wires. Now I've covered them up since with tape, but they weren't damaged, but they were a little bit exposed. Shouldn't be like that out of the factory, so just a question. Anyway, I texted him and said, hey, where's the logbook? And also, is this bike stolen? He absolutely lost his life. He was like, what do you mean you didn't get the logbook yet? It's been 2 months, why didn't you tell me earlier? And I said, well, I have a really busy life and I didn't pay attention to it, to be honest with you, because I didn't have time to think about the bike. So the bike was sitting in my shed so that was after about 2 months I contacted him. Then we were back and forth and he said, I'll have to contact Shannon, which is the crowd that deals with the logbooks. I rang them and they said, yeah, logbook's not in your name. Okay, that's no problem. So there was obviously a mix up with the post. He posted it and it got lost. I rang him. I said, Shannon don't have it in my name, so they GDPR, they cannot give any information on the bike to me. He rang them. Yeah, no, it's not in your name, so I can't give you anything because of GDPR. This is the guy who owned the bike. And he told me this, and all of a sudden there's a lot of confusion because now I don't own the bike, but I have 3 keys and it's sitting in my shed, and he doesn't own the bike because he sent the logbook off and I've given him money. So who owns the bike? So I said, I have to go to the guards now, because if you don't own the bike and I don't own the bike, somebody owns it, and now I can't do anything with it. What do I do with this bike? This was about 4 months in, this was all happening, and while this is happening, the bike is sitting in the shed, just living its best life, living its best parked up life, and it's taking up a lot of room because that bike is big. I off-roaded it a little bit, to be honest with you. It's really heavy, and on gravel roads like this, you're absolutely fine because you're king of the road. If you go up any little trail and you fall, my work is physical. I have to move and do stuff every single day. If I come off and pop a collarbone or pop a wrist, with the weight of that bike, really, really easy. That would be the least of your worries. I can't afford to be off work for the 10 weeks or whatever, however long it takes me to recover. So that had a major factor to play into this too. Also, I have 2 young kids and a caring partner who probably care if I'm all right or not. I was still in my, I'm just going to get a bike and drive it kind of stage. Didn't really think too deep into it. So that was another factor to play. But anyway, I sidestepped. I went to the guards. I said, hello, here's the registration of this bike, the number plate. Can you tell me if it's in my name or not? Of course we can. I told him the whole situation. I said the guy apparently sent the logbook off. I was still skeptical. Lovely man, but you know, everyone can do stuff. They said, yeah, not in your name. Okay. They said the only thing we can tell you is there's a guy from Offaly whose name is currently on it. And I said, okay. Neither myself or the previous owner of the bike, who lives probably 20 minutes away from me, is from Offaly. And I rang the guy, Polish guy. I said, Powell, hello. It's not in my name and it's not in your name. It's in some other guy's name. He's actually working really close to the guard station. So he came down and explained our case to the guards. And the guards said, GDPR, we can't help you. We can just tell you it's not in either of your names. It's in Offaly man's name. We said we can't say who it is or whatever. He's just from Offaly. Okay. Polish guy rings tax office. Thankfully, he and I had photos of the logbook. That's the only thing that saved us. If I can give you anything with this video, it's take photos after you have signed the logbook of the front, the back, and of it open. That is the only thing that will save you. He was able to say, here's all the details. The registry office in, it's not called a tax office, is it? I don't know. The logbook office in Shannon were like, oops, sorry, clerical error on our behalf. Lucky you had those photos so that you could prove this is what it was like when you sent it away. We'll take it out of that man's name. He never even knew that he owned a bike. And we put it into Stephen's name. It's now in my name. 5, nearly 6 months later, summer has passed. It is winter time now. So now the bike will have to sit in the shed for probably another 3-4 months before it's even okay weather to take it out. And then I've got to worry about buying a full fleet of gear. I had a lot of problems setting up my GoPro to it. It just wasn't working. You're going again. Ha! Caught you, babies. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with setting everything up. Nothing was working. I was just running into issue after issue after issue, which just made me kind of not like the bike anymore. It's a beautiful bike. I loved driving it, but I have this now. I'm with her now. And this is my beautiful baby Jeep that will go anywhere, and I'm inside it, and it's a lot safer and probably just as cheap to run petrol wise. Yeah, but that is the story. Long story short, long story longer, take pictures of your logbook, and it was a clerical error on their behalf, and it went on so long that I just got fed up and bought this Jeep because I needed off-road in my bones, in my veins. I needed off-road. My only thoughts are, if you were thinking about buying a Tenere and you wanted for 60% off-road, anything more than 10% off-road I can't recommend because it's so heavy. They're a really heavy bike. I would recommend a Honda, the 350, whatever they're called. You know, the Enduro ones with the lights and all that crack with that are registered on the road. Get one of those. They're small, they're nimble. One of the lads has one. They are class. Or get a little Jeep. There's no problems with audio. I just throw the GoPro up on the dash. I have a little mount for you. Everything is dry all the time. You know, you're not worried about weather. You can put a tent box on the roof eventually. You can go fishing. Anyway, that's the story with the Tenere. I have fallen out of love with it, and there's just more. Oop, you're falling for me again. There's just more issues than what it's worth to me now, and I think I'm just going to sell it, cut my losses, and use it to pay off this, because I'm not that minted to where I can buy bike and I can buy Jeep. Not there yet, buds. So yeah, the bike has to be sold to pay for Jeep. And that's the way the world works, unfortunately. It's sad because I've always wanted a Tenere and I've always thought they're an absolute beautiful bike, and I never thought that I'd own one. After owning one, they're phenomenal to drive, really comfortable and nice, plenty power, but it's just not my time for a Tenere, and I don't think it ever will be, to be honest with you. Story closed. I'm going to leave you there, and thank you for watching. And yeah, there's Jeep videos coming, so if you want them, I understand if you don't want them, and if you wanted Tenere videos, but you're in the wrong place, bud. Why don't you flip off if you are here for Tenere videos? Anyways, I'm gonna pack up my my iPod now. I call this an iPod because it's not a bipod or a tripod, it's only one holder thing, so you would call it an iPod too. And I'm going to put it inside my nice dry Jeep, and I don't have to worry about cable tying it to the bike and bringing cable ties. And she just starts. I'm bringing cable ties so that I can tie it back on, and if I fall off the bike, is the stand going to get broken? There's a lot of things that came against the Tenere in the end, alright? But we ended up with a little Jeep, and that's where we'll go for now. Thanks for watching.